Welcome back, everyone. We are still on this amazing journey through paradise, always looking for things useful for our own lives. And believe it or not, this is our 79th deep dive together.
It is indeed, and we're still here in the fourth heaven, the heaven of the sun.
Right, the sphere of wisdom.
Exactly, where Dante places the great thinkers, and we're continuing to see this real, quite beautiful, almost surprising harmony between different ways of thinking, different spiritual paths.
Okay, so for this deep dive, let's really focus in on Canto 12 of Paradise. Our mission, as always, using Paradise as our guide, is to look closely and find something genuinely useful we can take away for our own journeys, building on where we last were.
Right, and remember that perfect symmetry we talked about? How Thomas Aquinas, a Dominican, praised Francis, the Franciscan founder.
Yeah, I remember that setup.
Well, get ready, because Canto 12 gives us the absolute mirror image of that.
Okay, right. Let's get into Canto 12 then. What's the main picture Paradise is painting for us here?
So Paradise shows us exactly that reversal. A Franciscan saint steps up, this time it's Saint Bonaventure, and rather than, focusing only on his own order's founder, he actually praises the founder of the Dominican order, Saint Dominic. It's quite remarkable.
Wow, okay. And what details does Paradise give us about Dominic himself?
Well, the specifics are really interesting. It mentions his birthplace in Spain, Calahorra, near the Ebro River. It gives him a real geographical anchor.
Oh, yeah.
And Paradise also really highlights his mission, which was fighting heresy. So, belief that went against church teachings back then. And it stresses his order's main tools, preaching and study.
Preaching and study, got it.
Yeah.
And Bonaventure. He doesn't just praise Dominic, right? Paradise shows him doing something, well, pretty bold, much like Thomas Aquinas did in the last canto.
Ah, yes. That's where it gets really, really interesting. Bonaventure is shown being, well, quite critical of his own order.
Really? How so?
He basically laments how many of them had strayed, drifted quite far from the original principles of poverty, that central idea for the Franciscans.
Towards money and things.
Exactly, towards earthly wealth. He sees it as essentially a betrayal of what Francis originally intended.
Okay, so these specific things from Paradise, this mirror image, the geography, Dominic's name, Bonaventure's critique, they feel like little insights that add layers. If we connect this back, what did these specific points really tell us?
Well, that perfect symmetry between Canto 11 and 12, it's not just a neat literary trick. It really symbolizes a deep reconciliation.
Reconciliation between orders.
Yes, exactly. It shows that paths or traditions that might seem opposed can actually coexist. They can even celebrate each other when you look from a higher perspective. And the bit about Dominic's name, Bonaventure, explains it means Dominicus, belonging to the Lord. That's key.
How so?
It directly ties Dominic's identity, his very name, to his divine mission. Who he is connects directly to what he does as a preacher, a defender of the faith. It's quite powerful.
Okay, so bringing this all together, what does this mean for us? If we're looking for something useful for our own journeys, what are the core lessons we can pull directly from Canto 12 in Paradise?
Well, Paradise seems to point to several key things here. First, there's this really strong message about unity in diversity.
Right.
You see these different approaches, the Franciscan focus on poverty, the Dominican focus on study and preaching. They aren't shown as opposed, but as complementary. They can exist together harmoniously.
That definitely speaks to the value of intellectual formation, too, which Paradise really highlights through Dominic. Study isn't just academic, is it?
Not at all. It's presented as vital, for spiritual insight, for navigating the world's complexities. It's shown as just as valid a path as, say, active service or asceticism.
And then there's that really striking point, the courage of internal denunciation.
Both Thomas and Bonaventure, they call out problems within their own groups. That willingness to self-critique, to say the uncomfortable things, to stay true to your founding values, that's a huge lesson. For any institution, any group, even just for us, looking at our own lives.
Yeah, that definitely ties into the need for fidelity to our original mission, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The saints in Paradise are praised because they stayed true to their core calling, that initial spark. So Canto 12 kind of challenges us, Are our actions still lined up with the values we started with the path we feel we should be on?
And finally, it seems to reinforce the idea that there are complementary virtues.
Exactly. Francis and Dominic, they represent different ways, but equally valid ways of living out devotion, finding fulfillment. It tells us there isn't just one single road, Different strengths, different approaches can lead to the same heights.
So these lessons from Canto 12 of Paradise, finding harmony in difference, valuing study, the courage for self-critique, staying true, recognizing diverse paths. They really do speak directly to the choices and complexities we all face on our own life journeys.
They really do.
So maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to ponder. Considering Canto 12, how does that balance between, say, study and action, or maybe the need for both sticking to your path and having the courage to self-critique, how does that resonate with the particular journey you're walking right now? Something to think about.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this deep dive into paradise.
We look forward to exploring the next canto with you very soon.